I was teaching a class at the time. I was teaching my master class, and I was talking about why I do films to the class. I said the reason I do films is because I want to put light out into the world. I said I just want to put stuff out there with truth, so that if somebody wakes up at 4 a.m. depressed and thinks he can't go on, he might access my film or one of our books, and just and it might take him through another day. It might inspire him, might put that spirit in him. And I was talking about it, and Mike Morris was in the group. And during our tea break, Mike Morris, I was talking about the films I was doing. I said, I'm going to raise £100,000 so I can just have enough money there to be able to make any short film I want to make without having to keep looking for money. And he said to me, what films were you talking about? I said, well, there's two particular. He said, The Pyramid Text and Three Sacks Full of Hats. And I'm abbreviating the conversation, but basically he said, oh, what will that cost? I said, well, 50 grand. And he goes, I'll give you 50 grand. And he just gave me 50 grand there and then. At the time, I got the money, but we hadn't got the actor because James had been a bit poorly. And James had rang me before this and said, I'm not going to be able to do the film, Geoff, because I'm not very well at the moment. And I said, that's okay, James, we'll wait for you. If you want to do it, we'll wait for you. So we got no money, but we got the actor, but we got no money. And then we got the money, but got no actor. So Mike said the money's there. So I came back home and I meditated. And when I come back at the meditation, I opened up my phone. There was a message from James. He said, I've been talking to my sons, Geoff. He said, and I need to do this film. I need to do it. I need to do it as soon as possible. And I said, great. So we got the money and we got the actor. And then we had the whole process of bringing it together. And it was a very difficult process because you're making a feature film. We made it for 20 grand.
In 4 days?
In 4 days.
Half days?
4 half days. Everything was against us. That's always the way, though, with something metaphysical. But what was important about this film, I remember there was a Jewish guy in the audience when we screened it in BAFTA. And he put his hand up and he spoke. And the reason I'm mentioning that he was Jewish is because I'm a big fan of Judaism and the Zohar and the Old Testament.
He was Hasidic. He was Hasidic.
Hasidic, yeah. So, I felt like he was an angelic presence in the room. He said, do you know how powerful this film is? You're talking about fear. He said, do you know how powerful that is? And do you know how important that is? He said, people, he said, this is more powerful than sex. He said, people are obsessed with sex and seduced by sex. He said, but this is the hidden force, fear. People are shrunk by it. And of course, I didn't realise this. And actually, until you said it now, I didn't know he was a Hasidic Jew. But 5 years later, I started to study Hasidic Judaism. A lot of the stuff I write now is based on Hasidic Judaism. But he just said something really vital, that you're sat on something here. This is really, really important, that you're writing about fear and about the fact that that is the thorn and the fire that surrounds the kingdom. In other words, the kingdom's in here. It's in the Kaaba, it's in the centre. But around that, stopping us from penetrating it, is our fears and our dissonance. And that's the work of the old villain, as they call him. That's the work of the devil, trying to stop us from accessing our true autonomy.